Hello everybody and welcome to Mr. Gamer Guys 123. I am Black Cobra with
Antoine Gonzalez.
and we are doing the Madden 15. No, we're doing the NFL Quick Picks.
For the 2014 NFL season. Now, to be honest with you guys,
We were lazy.
yes, the week before week 1 started, we could not find the time to get together and record the week 1 predictions. So, it is Tuesday, the day after the end of the week 1 games. So, in this video, we're going to be covering our week 1 predictions because we did do predictions just over text and we marked them down and kept track of them, and the week 1 recap. The recap would be we'll just be recapping the game and going through all the games and what happened and what we liked and what we didn't.
Yes.
And for our first game, the Thursday night opener, the Green Bay Packers versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Which is kindly being posted right now in front of you.
Yes, and Madden 15 for the PS3 computer versus computer footage.
Yes. Take a minute to
yes.
admire the fanciness of the of Madden 15.
As we have
And-
to watch
Eddie Lacy.
Eddie
Lacy. Up. Tackle.
6-yard rush.
Tackle for a 6-yard rush.
But before the Thursday night opener, I thought for myself that it was pretty obvious, so I chose the Seahawks.
I also chose the Seahawks.
The next game, starting with the Sunday night games, the Atlanta Falcons versus the New Orleans Saints, and I went with the Saints.
I naturally went with the Saints because they seemed like a better team,
Yes.
but clearly we were kind of.
Next one, the Minnesota Vikings versus the St. Louis Rams, and I went with the Vikings.
And I went with the Vikings too because of Adrian Peterson.
The Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns, and I went with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I also went with the Steelers.
Philadelphia Eagles versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, I went with the Eagles.
I too went with the Eagles.
So up to this point, we've chosen the same teams, but now Jets versus Raiders, I went with the New York Jets.
I went with the Oakland Raiders.
Baltimore Ravens versus the Cincinnati Bengals, I went with the Ravens.
I went with the Bengals because, you know, they're tigers, so they can be like scratch.
Yeah. The Buffalo Bills versus the Chicago Bears, I chose the Chicago Bears.
You live in Buffalo.
Yeah,
Why did
exactly.
you choose Buffalo?
Because no one would choose Buffalo.
Well, you obviously were upset when you watched that game because...
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. Because Buffalo rules.
And you chose
Buffalo.
Washington Redskins versus the Houston Texans, and
You
I
know,
chose the Redskins.
you think you have faith in a team sometime, but you think a team would do good when you put your entire faith in this one team. But I guess not. Hey, I chose the Redskins, unfortunately.
The Tennessee Titans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I went with the Chiefs.
I too went with the Chiefs.
The Miami Dolphins versus the New England Patriots. I went with the Patriots.
I too went with the Patriots, which kind of upset me because, you know, you think a good team out of the entire division would try to control themselves in their division and control them. But no.
The Ace Boogie-less Carolina Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I went with the Buccaneers.
What did you just say?
The Ace Boogie-less.
Oh, the Browns.
They weren't with Cam Newton.
Oh, okay. And I went with the Panthers.
Ooh, that was a nice interception by the best corner in the league.
Oh, don't you say that. Don't you say that. What's wrong with you? God.
You went with the Panthers.
Yep.
The Dallas Cowboys versus the San Francisco 49ers.
Alright, I want to bring this up right now. For all of you pansies who said that the 49ers were going to lose in your face.
To be honest, I read so many of those articles that I seriously took 5 minutes out of my time one day and looked at the free agency list on our fantasy football league and looked at Tony Romo. Like, maybe him over Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, maybe. And then you watch the game and then you're like, I'm glad I didn't pick him off.
And I actually picked up Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson.
Yep. Because, you know, their boss.
And he chose the 49ers.
Yeah, I definitely chose the 49ers.
The Denver Broncos versus the Indianapolis Colts. I went with the Broncos.
I too went with the Broncos because of Peyton Manning.
The Detroit Lions versus the New York Giants. I went with the Lions.
I went with Lions.
And the Arizona Cardinals versus the San Diego Chargers.
I chose the Cardinals.
I chose the Cardinals.
You know what? We need to stop with all this same picking stuff because these people are going to get bored with getting the same team over and over again.
But our records are not like that.
Oh.
So now, before we go on to the Week 1 recap, we want to bring back something from last year, or last season. A fine man by the name of John Breach, a writer for CBSSports.com. Every week he basically does the same thing that we do. He picks who's gonna win, and then after every week he picks the winners for the next week and does a recap of the last week. So we're going to use his article just to get our recap going. Quote. Before we get to the Week 2 picks, we need to talk about Week 1 because we always need to talk about the week before, right?
Well, of course.
Otherwise, you have nothing to talk about.
Naturally.
We could talk about Ray Rice right now, but I don't want to talk about Ray Rice because everyone else is talking about Ray Rice. Also, Ray Rice isn't even in the NFL anymore, and why would I want to talk about someone who's not in the NFL?
Yeah.
If I'm going to talk about someone who's not in the NFL anymore, I'll talk about Tim Tebow. I mean, did you know that heading into Week 1, Tebow was owned in more fantasy leagues than Chad Henne?
Oh wait, who's Chad Henne?
The quarterback for the Jaguars. People would probably own Tebow twice if that were legal. Owning him twice wouldn't be smart though, because you know Tim Tebow scored 0 points in Week 1.
Oh.
Henne put up 23.5.
Jeez.
Enough about Tebow and Henne though. Let's talk about things in Week 1 that really matter, like punters getting kicked in the face.
That was a wonderful
If you missed
play.
it, here's Steelers returner Antonio Brown giving a free karate lesson to Browns punter Spencer Lanning, and then he provides a nice YouTube clip of that's a wonderful play.
Oh yeah.
It was really just a bad week for kickers and punters. Panthers kicker Graham Gano didn't get kicked in the face, but he did have his halftime warm-up interrupted by the Bethune-Cookman band. He was trying to practice making field goals during halftime, and all of a sudden the big band came out and they got in his way. And he was like, "What the hell, man?
The hell, man? I'm trying to practice my kicking, bro."
Then there's Giants punter Steve Weatherford. He didn't get kicked in the face either, but on the other hand, it doesn't look like they'll be doing any face kicking of his own anytime soon, as his ankle got hit. His ankle got rolled up.
Oh.
Had an MRI tomorrow.
Yeah.
So now we go on to his. Wait, no, we're gonna go back. There. His picks for last week, he has his best pick and his worst pick. Last week, I predicted that Titans kicker Ryan Suckup would single-handedly lead Tennessee to a win over the Chiefs, and it turned out I was mostly right. Suckup, who was cut by Kansas City in August, scored more points than the Chiefs by himself.
Damn.
Did he need the rest of his teammates? Probably not, but they were there to help anyway.
Yeah.
He outscored the Chiefs 14-10. Worst pick. I learned an important lesson last week. Never pick Tony Romo to win against good teams.
Yeah.
Or mediocre teams. Actually, I think the lesson was never pick Tony Romo to win against anyone. Of course, I wasn't following that lesson last week when I picked the Cowboys to beat the 49ers.
Yeah.
It was an embarrassing pick, and I don't take this lightly, so I dropped Romo from my fantasy team and unfriended everyone I know on Facebook named Tony.
Well, you're very glad that you're not friends with that guy.
And that's that.
That's just terrible.
So now we go on to our picks. The Seattle Seahawks versus the Green Bay Packers. How did that mean?
The Seahawks won 36-16.
Now, obviously, we both chose the Seahawks. Is there anything that we took away from that game?
I took away that Marshawn Lynch is a very good running back, and when you want your running back to do good, apparently he'll listen. That's what happened to one of our teammates.
Yep. And the Seattle Seahawks defense is still pretty good.
Still number one.
Yeah. Because they were facing me in that fantasy.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because I didn't have anyone starting in that game. It was just an 8-0 deficit to start off with, but that was fine by me.
Which is okay.
And I had Russell Wilson on my bench,
Uh-huh.
and of course he gets a lot of points, and I'm like, maybe I should have started him. I don't know what I did. Why do I do these things? I'm messing up already.
This sucks. I'm
But
gonna go kill myself.
Again, we'll get back to that. If you guys don't know, we have our own fantasy league, and we'll probably be
fabulous.
bringing that up later in all of these episodes. It's the next game.
The next game on Sunday was the Bills versus the Chicago Bears.
What was the final score in that game?
The Bills won 23-20. In OT.
Wasn't that a great game?
In OT.
Oh, that was a great game.
It was such a great game. Because, you know, the Bills and the interceptions and the fumbles and the field goals.
If you guys don't know, we are Bills fans. So that's why, you know, we're undefeated. So
we have those.
We're obviously gonna win the Super Bowl, right?
Right. The Bills, OT, undefeated. What?
And we got Miami next week at home. The 12th man.
Yeah. The Dolphin guys will not be there.
Better watch out, Dolphins.
We're gonna bring harpoons. We're gonna shoot you guys down, especially Ryan Tannehill.
And fabulous Freddie Jackson is so awesome.
With his wonderful voluptuous biceps that he uses to stiff arm.
He's like the best guy in the league.
Oh yeah.
He's like better than everyone else.
You know who he reminds me of? Doug Gilmore. That's who he reminds me of. Doug Gilmore.
He's just a hard-working Canadian boy.
You do realize that Fred Jackson is of African American descent.
But I wasn't actually watching the beginning of this game because the Yankees, you know, they have a certain game where they're gonna honor Derek Jeter, and of course it's at 1:00.
Yeah.
On a Sunday, which is not a good time. So I was watching that, and once that was over, I flipped to the Bills game, and it's like not even 3 minutes into the game, and the Bills are already down 7-0.
Yeah.
This is great. But then EJ, the best quarterback in the league, gets that touchdown, and I'm like turned up, and I'm like, EJ, you're the man, EJ.
And then you watch the interception happen, and then you're just like,
but that wasn't for a while, because then the Bills went up 17-7.
Woo! And then the other guys, they got a touchdown.
And every time the Bills did something well, CJ! And when EJ got the touchdown, EJ! And
then what happened about Fred Jackson?
And then EJ steps back, throws a pass, an unbelievable catch, Sammy! And then later in the game, another unbelievable catch, a jumping catch, Mikey Williams!
You ruined it. Oh, That's just beautiful.
And then the Bills left the Bears tied up. They go to overtime, and fabulous Freddie Jackson just drives down the field. They thought it was a touchdown.
With his
And then-
voluptuous biceps.
So I know it's not a touchdown, but then they bring the offense back onto the field. I'm like, they're not going to try to run this in, are they? Come on, Bills, please don't. Please, you're gonna fumble it, and you're gonna let everyone down. But then EJ takes it, and then he just centers it just to make life easier for good old Danny Carpenter.
The soul and heart of the Bills offense, Dan Carpenter.
And Dan Carpenter comes onto the field, and my mom says, "Oh, they're gonna make this no problem." Like, shut up.
Flag.
Then there's a flag. Well, no. Before the flag, I'm like, okay, only the Bills will mess this up. It's a 22-yard field goal. Please don't mess this up, please. And then the flag comes up. They haven't even. They're already messing it up. They're messing it up. This is terrible.
We're gonna lose.
5 yards. But then good old Danny Carpenter makes it.
And then my dad is like, if they miss this, I will literally flip shit. I will literally go outside and start flipping your chairs right now. If they miss this field goal.
But he
Good,
made it.
and then he made it. And then we all had
All
hugs.
is forgiven.
And then we had hugs and pizza and candy.
Yes.
Yay!
Alright, next game we're probably making people bored.
Yeah. The next one is...
Sorry, the Bills are the best team. What can we do?
We could stop doing this and go get candy.
Or we could talk about Jake Locker and how he screwed a bunch of fantasy winners.
Yeah, let's talk about Jake Locker.
Yeah, how did he do against the Chiefs? The started last season 9-0 Chiefs.
The Tennessee Titans have won over the Kansas City Chiefs 26-10. Not a great game for the Chiefs, being where they were last year.
Jamal Charles.
Jesus. And Alex Smith. Whew. Damn. Carrying that team. But other than that, let's move on to the Patriots and the Dolphins. Because, the Patriots are somewhat a better team in the division, and you think they're going to win. But no, they get their asses handed to them by Dolphins.
The Patriots, they were up. What was the final score?
33-20. With the Dolphins win.
The Patriots were up 20-10 at halftime.
Yeah.
So, Patriots, I have you guys in my family fantasy league where we choose actual NFL teams. You're one of my teams. Don't let me down. Please work on your second half play.
Please.
This is like one of the few years that I'm actually sad that the Patriots lost.
Right.
And Gronk did decent for a tight end. I mean, there were two specific tight ends that did unbelievably good, and we both know who they are. And high five. And we'll get to them later. Now, before we go on to the next few games, the games before we both chose the Seahawks. We both got the win there.
Nope.
I chose the Bears over the Bills.
2-0.
Just the Bills. And then Tennessee.
Yep, Tennessee versus Chiefs.
We both chose the Chiefs, so
2-1.
And then we both chose the Patriots.
So 2-2. Yes.
And now to probably
one of the biggest blowouts / comebacks ever to happen.
To me, I'm watching the Bills and they're up 17-7, and there's an alert, and they go to a highlight for another game.
Yeah.
And it's Jacksonville, and they get a touchdown, and they're up 17-0 over the Eagles. I'm like, whoa, way to go Jacksonville.
Go Jacksonville, and then as my phone starts going up,
one of the most
touchdown Eagles.
Probably one of the most depressing moments of week one, because Jacksonville, probably one of the worst teams in the league. They go up 17-0, and they lose 34-17.
Yeah.
You almost had us there, Jacksonville. You almost
had us there. Good one though. That was a good one. We weren't surprised. You guys actually thought you were gonna be a football team this year. But you got us. You got us.
Jackson.
Now one of the
and we both went with the Eagles, so
Yeah.
we both got them.
So one of my favorite games of this
This
week.
was one of the best moments. Like even as a Bills fan, winning
Yeah.
over. It's so I don't know what it is about me. It's probably last season because I was cheering for the Seahawks because I had them in my family fantasy league. I the Seahawks and the Panthers. They had games against the Saints. Last year, a game where Seattle completely blew out New Orleans, and I was up all night. I'm like, yeah, you suck, New Orleans. And then the Panthers won against them in the later half of the season to clinch their division.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I hate the Saints. It just built all season. Then this preseason, for some reason, I thought I had the Saints. Because I got a bunch of good teams. I got the 49ers, I got the Patriots, I got the Broncos. For some reason, I thought I had the Saints. And I was watching the Saints preseason game, and I'm like, you know what? I have to learn to like the Saints now since I have them. Then I'm like, wait, do I have them? I thought... Because I actually confuse them for the Patriots.
Oh,
But the Patriots now I have to start to like. So I go over to the piece of paper that has all of our teams. I'm like, no, I don't have the Saints. Screw the Saints.
So let me lay down the situation for you. It's tied, 34-34.
Actually, the Saints had a big lead. Falcons came back, and the Saints tied it up, and then they took the lead. Well, no, the Saints took the lead, and then the Falcons tied it up, and then we go to overtime.
It's OT.
You take it away.
It's OT. Drew Brees calls heist.
Oh my goodness.
He's running up the line. He throws it. Marquise Colston catches it.
He's got a first down.
He's got it.
What happened?
Take it down. Fumble Saints.
Who recovered it?
I don't know his name, but the Falcons recovered
Falcons
it.
got it.
Falcons recovered.
Field goal position.
Oh my god. And then the field goal. Atlanta wins in OT with the field goal.
And then one of the most refreshing moments, like,
this is now known as one of the most iconic moments in football history now. All you see is Marquise Colston
the super slow motion of Marquise
holding
Colston
his
on the
helmet
sideline.
by the face mask, takes off his helmet, slams it down. It goes at least about 5 feet into the air. Walks away as one of his Saints member comes in and tries to give him a refreshing hug. Marquise Colston goes, "No! Get off of me! I'm mad! I lost the game!" Well, that's what you get,
Marquise
Colston.
Colston is meh. He's meh.
He is now the new angry cat.
And the Falcons won, and Matt Ryan. Well, I don't know if. I mean, he's most likely owned by a lot of fantasy leagues, but in our 16 league, no one has him.
Yeah, it's a good thing we did it because
led all quarterbacks in scoring this.
All right.
We actually both chose the Saints because
we thought
the Saints were in.
we thought Marquise Colston had
we are
some nice.
both happy.
We
And
thought
I know that.
we thought Marquise Colston had some nice hands, but apparently he's got some butterfingers.
Could you imagine if the Saints lose next week?
Oh my god!
That'll be so fun.
Alright, the next game is the Oakland Raiders versus the New York Jets. The Jets win 19-14.
The NFL debut of rookie quarterback Derek Carr for the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders had a lead, one of those surprising teams to go up early, but then the Jets came back. Geno Smith was on fire. He was great.
Yeah. But I'd still rather
That's
see.
nice.
I'd
That's nice to see.
I'd still rather see Michael Vick in there. See what he could do.
But you know what? I think. Well, I know they got some Michael Vick in there because, like, Michael Vick is basically almost the same player as Geno Smith, except Geno Smith is younger. Geno Smith. I mean, Michael Vick throwing power is good, and he's very mobile, and that's what Geno Smith needs to be.
His experience, so he knows what happens in a pressure situation for the pocket, if the pocket ever collapses. And plus, can you imagine Michael Vick's arm power with Eric Decker? That's like, duh!
I don't know why, but as even as a Bills fan, I really like Geno Smith.
You really want to see the
Except
Jets
when
prosper.
he's not facing the Bills.
Except when he's like in the end zone and he's trying to switch hands and accidentally
awesome.
hits his jersey and I'm gonna be fancy. Oh no, the ball's back there. Oh, safety.
Yeah, I'm sure when Michael Vick came into town, that was the first thing he said. Okay, no Harlem Globetrotters anymore, please.
No, I don't want to see. Do, 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 do.
You're gonna make yourself look like an idiot. And if Michael Vick taught Geno Smith all that he did against Oakland,
I swear.
it is against Oakland, but Geno Smith had a hell of a game.
I can really just picture Michael Vick just be like, all right, this ain't basketball. We're not doing no switch arounds or through the legs. We're not doing dunks. This is football.
You're gonna call hike and you're gonna throw that ball as hard as you can.
Without throwing an interception.
Yes.
Oh, whatever you do, don't do what I did. You'll get ridiculed for life.
And having Michael Vick as a solid quarterback just in case, or as a solid backup, just in case if Geno gets injured.
God
Pretty good for the
forbid.
Jets.
Yeah.
Jets
But,
maybe playoff, maybe. I mean, they got Chris Johnson, who's a good running back. They got Eric
Tucker.
I mean, and then Michael Vick. So
sounds like playoff
maybe,
material to me.
Maybe. I mean, I wish they did it last year when I had them in my fantasy.
But other than that, the next game are the
I chose the Jets. You chose the Raiders.
Oh yeah. Next is the Minnesota Vikings versus the St. Louis Rams. The only game that I know that the Vikings handed off to Adrian Peterson, and Peterson doesn't get a freaking touchdown. What is up with that?
I have two things to bring from this game, and they're both fantasy related. Well, first of all, nice job, Vikings. You beat the Rams without their starting quarterback, Sam Bradford.
Yep.
If you guys can keep it up, maybe. I mean, you guys are my dad's second team.
Yeah.
He loves watching you guys. I'm sure he was really happy with the win, 34-6. I was actually told by Fantasy Football to pick up the Vikings defense and start them because they had the highest projected points out of all of the defenses. Then, like later in the week, I think it was on Thursday or Friday or Friday or Saturday, the Vikings projected points went from like went from like 20 to 2 points.
What?
So I got rid of them and started the Bengals defense, which the Bengals defense did pretty good. But the Vikings defense, of course, they last I checked, I don't know about the Monday night games, but they led all defenses in points with 22 points. So,
but
the Rams without Sam Bradford, it could be a long season for them. I'm so sorry, Rams. I had you last year in my fantasy league, but not anymore, so I don't really need to worry about that. And how about that spin move by Zach for touchdown? And also, somehow in a 34-6 Minnesota's Vikings spanking over the Rams, Adrian Peterson, plenty of yardage, but no touchdowns, and that's what hurt
what hurt me
league.
the most. How do you not hand it off to Adrian Peterson and then not get a touchdown?
I don't know.
I mean, isn't it automatic?
They got plenty of yardage. Maybe it was just stopped. Maybe they start at the 20. He runs them all the way down to the 1 yard line. Adrian, you're tired. Get off.
What the hell, man? I mean, like, just let him stand there for like the halfback dive, so you can be like, touchdown!
And I had a Cordarrelle Patterson on my bench, and he was unbelievable good.
Yeah, I know.
But that's okay.
The one time I had him sitting too. But speaking of beatings, the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Baltimore Ravens 23-16. Now you all are wondering why I'm putting emphasis on beat. I just like to poke fun at Ray Rice because him getting terminated from the Baltimore Ravens and his contract getting terminated because he beat his fiance and then dragged her in front of the cameras in the hotel lobby where people can see.
And just so you know, it might be too late by now, but I sent you a trade offer, Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson for Ray Rice, but you didn't accept it. So
what you mean? I didn't get that. What you mean?
It's too late. But I had the Bengals defense, and they were doing unbelievably good for like the first half. The Bengals are up 15-0. I'm like, I was like that because I started the Bengals defense.
Yeah.
I also started Justin Tucker.
Oh.
And I'm like, why did I not start the Bengals kicker? I'm dumb, but that's okay because the Bengals defense are doing awesome. And like, I swear, like 5 minutes passed by. Baltimore's up 16-0.
Yeah.
And that was just right after I saw a highlight
Yeah.
of the Bengals being up 15-0, I think.
Yeah.
And Joe Flacco throws an interception, and Baltimore fans just devastated. They just boom off the ice, off the field.
Off the ice. Because, he skated off the ice.
Baltimore comes back. They take the lead, but then Andy Dalton, in his own end, finding space, downfield, the throw, deflected up in the air, and caught by A.J. Green for the touchdown.
Oh! No wonder
Which
AJ
helps
Green
you
did awesome.
in both of your fantasy leagues.
No wonder AJ Green did awesome. Because AJ Green is the Bob Diggity Fresh. Yes. Alright. The next a real kicker. The Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And with the Steelers winning 30-27. The debut. Not the debut. I don't know. Did Johnny Manziel play?
No, wish he did. He's too busy doing commercials.
Too busy being Johnny Funky Joe.
He's too busy doing a Snickers commercial.
Now do one of these. What's my name? Johnny Joe Boogie. Johnny, what are you? Ethan, why? 'Cause you're Johnny Football.
I'm Johnny Football, and you're on my Men 15 fantasy team. So get out on the field and continue on your quest for 100 completion percentage.
And stop wearing that weird boot. He eats it, gets his Cleveland Browns uniform on, and goes, "Thanks, man. I needed that." Oh, by the way, who are those girls? I don't know. Don't worry about it, man. And then they walk out, and then you're just thinking, did he just go from gay to straight, like from eating a Snickers bar, or did he just go from Johnny J Boogie to Johnny Football by eating a Snickers bar? And then you're just wondering the entire time during the Cleveland Browns game whether you indeed need to go get a Snickers bar to get game ready. Wasn't that what you were wondering?
Of course.
Exactly.
Now Pittsburgh went up 27-3, and Cleveland comes back. And I'm like, maybe Cleveland can upset them. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
And Sean Sweezen is a douche, and he kicks a field goal.
And he kicks a field goal. The next game. I want to go over this game.
I was the proud owner of Le'Veon Bell, and I sat him. That won't be happening
ever again
next week.
Oh, this game. I want to go over this game. The Washington Redskins versus the Houston Texans. Texans win 17-6. You coming in there thinking, because RG3's on the Subway commercials now, you thinking, oh, he's going to throw lots of touchdowns, and he's going to throw a touchdown to Deshaun Jackson. Yay! And no, it's just RG3 throwing a completion. They get 2 field goals. Yay!
They actually got a touchdown, but JJ Swat with the typical
amazing SWAT
PAT block, because that always happens.
Yeah.
They didn't even move the PAT back to where they should have kept it for the preseason and for the regular season. They moved it back to the 2-yard line, I think that is, for how they usually have it, which they should move it back. And JJ Swat still he bats it. Oh my goodness. When do the Bills? Why can't the Bills block PATs?
So did you hear about Golden Tate and Sidney Rice?
What?
They got released from the Seahawks.
Golden Tate wasn't. Well, yeah, that was a while ago.
That one, and then Sidney Rice got released too. And my dad was, Joe was just like, he was going, oh, we better go sign them now. I mean, we got the money. I mean, don't we have like the largest like salary cap
Then
in
no
the
one
league?
wants to come to Buffalo.
Because no one is willing to deal with the snow. I mean, it's just white cold stuff.
Like,
It's not gonna hurt.
like really, if Crosby was a free agent and Buffalo gave him their entire cap
space. Yeah.
he still would
Would-
have to think about it.
Well, I don't know about that because he does live in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is pretty cold.
But, well, actually, if they signed him to the entire cap space, he would be the only player on the team.
Yeah.
Team wouldn't do so well.
I mean, hey, everyone says he's a one-man team. Let's see how he does when he's the only one on the Buffalo Sabres, and Zdeno Chara is coming at him about 13 miles per hour, going, "Marwan Crosby, boom!" And then he just goes 5 feet down the ice. All right, you know what? Let's stop talking about hockey. Let's go back to football. Oh, okay. No, all right, we already went over that. All right, now next game are the Carolina Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I was actually very surprised that the Panthers were able to win against the Buccaneers.
I was too.
The game ended up being 20-14 Panthers win. The one thing that really shocked me was that the Panthers were really able to make some connections with the football without Cam Newton being there.
Yup.
What you mean? Why are you upset?
So chose the Bucks.
Oh.
They let me down.
What you expect? It's the Bucks.
They're the favorite to win.
Well, so were the Dallas Cowboys, and you know how that went.
Dallas Cowboys were not favorite to win.
Yeah, they were. There were a whole bunch of people who said
Yeah,
Cowboys are gonna upset.
the
Niners.
Las Vegas odds.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tampa was. Are we doing that game now?
I have no idea. How come did we go over the 49ers? Ah, we completely went over them. No, wait, no.
Well, we can do them right now.
Yeah, we can do them right now because we
they're
we don't have until.
They're the other 4 o'clock game or 4:25
Yeah.
game.
The next one is the San Francisco 49ers versus the Dallas Cowboys, and I am very proud to say this in a loud and clear voice.
Now wait, before you go over your fantasy guys, as a 49ers fan,
Yes.
why does Colin Kaepernick hate Michael Crabtree? I started him in my flex position
Yes.
with confidence.
Yes.
Like the guy I was facing, Alex.
Yes.
Now I had a whole bunch of guys Sunday nights and Monday nights, but I had Crabtree and he had Vincent Jackson for the Bucks. Those were our only guys for the 4 o'clock games. I started Crabtree in the flex position with confidence, knowing that I can at least make up some ground, and then Sunday night I can really take off, and Monday nights I can get more and I can come up with the win. Why did Crabtree only have 25 receiving yards?
I'm gonna have to say this right now. He just doesn't like him. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, good, because I don't really want to start him next week because I want to start Bell instead. But then, of course, the 49ers are facing the Bears, and their defense is terrible. So I'm in a dilemma again. I don't want to start Crabtree.
I have no idea why Colin Kaepernick hasn't been throwing to Michael Crabtree. I mean, I was just shocked by most of the throws that he's made. He threw him to Bolden. He threw him to Bolden of all people.
He threw it to Davis at least twice.
No. He threw it to him at least. He made 3 receptions, 2 of them which are touchdowns.
I just said at least twice because he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and I'm like, man, you have like the best tight end.
Yeah.
But that was before the other games.
Yeah.
We'll get to those soon.
We will. But the one thing that really surprised me was even though Navarro Bowman with his ACL injury gone, with Alden Smith and his issues with the NFL. Gone. Yeah. His drug abuse, his DWI,
Issues.
smoking the doobies. Just those damn issues always get in the way. And then with their defensive tackle gone too, they really filled the cracks with their other better players. Now I'm gonna expect a lot more out of them because they really blew up. They got 2 picks and a fumble 6.
Actually, Tony Romo threw at least
3 picks, my bad.
I think it was 3, or maybe
No,
it was 3 turnovers.
No, he did throw 3 picks. Yeah, but the 2 of them they capitalized on, and then the fumble 6.
Yeah, I know there was the fumble.
The fumble 6 was just hilarious because all you see is the 49ers guy just going la 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 touchdown, yay!
Now I was actually keeping track of your game because you had your big boys going. Frank Gore, Vernon Davis, and Phil Dawson.
Yeah.
And those guys were your last chance.
Yeah.
To catch up with Chris.
The only time
the
only time my grandmother ever yells was Sunday when I was rooting for the 49ers and I was screaming at the TV repeatedly, hand it off to Frank Gore or throw it to Vernon Davis, for God's sakes, don't give it to Bolden, don't you do that, hand it off to Gore, he's a nice power runner, just give him the open space, he's gone, don't do this to me, Kaepernick.
Vernon Davis, those 2 touchdowns, and he got you a lot of points.
Yes, but the one thing
But Gore, on the other hand,
not so much. But the one thing that brought me down was Adrian Peterson. I was coming in there thinking with a good mind that Adrian Peterson is going to get me at least 30 or 21 points. But no, he walked out of that game with 8 points. I'm just there.
You also had the 49ers defense on your bench.
Yeah. Because I knew, because my brother and my dad kept telling me, oh, Dallas has got a good offense. And I was like, will you shut up?
They also have Tony Romo.
Yeah. And then I was just like, oh my gosh, you know what, fine, I'm taking them out and I'll put in the Bills, because they're facing the Chicago. And then I was just like, damn.
You see the thing. The Bills' defense did good. They got more points than my Cincinnati defense.
Yeah.
It's just you had 2 good defenses that week.
And I obviously chose the wrong one. I obviously chose the wrong defense for the week.
But now we can go to the better game.
Yeah, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos blew up the Colts 31-24.
I had, at this point,
yes,
I've already watched. At that point, I was sitting down watching every single game, waiting for the Denver game to start. I'm down 61-31. In my fantasy league, but just like your big boys came up, my big boys were coming up in the Denver game. Monte Ball, Demaryius Thomas, and Julius Thomas, and I was ready for the comeback. 8:25. I'm down 61-31. 9:25. I'm up 65-61.
Now the one thing I need to say is that game made or break my game, and I'm just saying this right now. I was praying because when I got back to my grandmother's house, I was so tired. I had to go to bed. When I got back, I went to bed, and I was just telling myself right now. I was like, "Hey Manning, I swear to Jeebus, if you throw it to Emmanuel Sanders at least twice, I'm going to curse your name in holy water."
Well, first of all, by the time this game started, your 49ers didn't get you enough points. You were losing by less than 1 point.
Yeah, I know.
And Chris still had Emmanuel Sanders. But still, if he throws to Emmanuel Sanders, that's not points for me. So when Denver went out there, first 3 offensive plays of the year, Emmanuel Sanders, Emmanuel Sanders, Emmanuel Sanders.
Why on earth did you throw it to Emmanuel Sanders? You know what? I wish Eric Decker was back on the team. I don't know why they let go of him. I think I might cry in the corner.
But
Is the corner free right now?
the important thing is Julius Thomas is the best.
Tight end?
He is the best,
Tight end?
period.
Ever.
The best.
Ever? What about Jimmy Graham?
The best. Jimmy Graham had less than 10 points. Julius Thomas had 27 fantasy points for my team.
You need an inhaler right now?
No.
Okay.
3 touchdowns, over 100 receiving yards, and I don't know which one of his 3 touchdowns it was, but I had Monte Ball, Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas. The Broncos are driving down the field. I don't know what the score was, but Peyton Manning, I'm like, okay, I think this is a good run situation. You gotta hand it off to Monte. Peyton Manning, handoff. Fake handoff, it's a play action. I'm like,
Play action!
oh, Monte, no! Don't pass it to Sanders, don't pass it to Sanders. He throws it to not Sanders. And I don't know which Thomas it was, but it was Thomas. I'm like, yes, Thomas. He turns around, it's 80. Yes, Julius Thomas, please. And he takes it to the end zone. Touchdown, and I go nuts. And then I get more points. Demaryius Thomas only had 4 points, but Julius Thomas made up for it. And
Yeah.
I was so happy.
Alright, let's go to Monday's night games. We have the New York Giants versus the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions decimating the
Now,
Giants.
did I say Julius Thomas was the best?
Yes.
I'm sorry. There's someone else that deserves that for this week.
The Detroit Lions end up decimating the Giants 35-14.
Matthew Stafford is the best.
The
best. Besides Matt Ryan, who none of us had in our fantasy league. He was sitting on the free agents list. Matthew Stafford is the best. I got the trophy for our league for most satisfying player. I won it because of Matthew Stafford and because he is the best. Matthew Stafford, you are the best. If you can somehow send us your address, I will send you chocolates for being the best. Because he is the best.
I think we're getting like some
I will give him cash.
I think you're getting into like some stalker stuff right now. If you're gonna send the man chocolate, no, not really. They better be football shit. Just to
They
take
are.
They bet. Yeah, go ahead. All right, and the next game, a very close game, the San Diego Chargers versus the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals only winning by 1 point, 18-17. Real talk.
But their defense really showed.
Yeah.
And Carson Palmer, why do you hate Larry Fitzgerald? You threw to him once. Well, you threw to him more, but 1 reception for 22 yards, no touchdowns.
That's it? That's it?
Michael Floyd, much more of everything.
I'm gonna. Who's the quarterback?
Carson Palmer.
I'm killing Carson Palmer. If any of you see Carson Palmer on the news tonight, he's dead.
Chargers, I believe they're up 17-3 going into halftime. Arizona comes back. That's what Arizona is.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about that, but
Maybe Arizona could make the playoffs. I wouldn't mind seeing the Arizona make the playoffs.
no, I wouldn't.
Although, well, actually, no, it doesn't. I mean, the big stats are race. The Seahawks, 49ers, and
Yeah.
Arizona. It's a bit tougher now. I mean, St. Louis, no more really.
No. But
Arizona,
we don't need
yeah,
any
down
more.
there.
We don't need any more competition. It's the Seahawks and the 49ers division.
I mean,
No one
Arizona beat Seattle in Seattle last year.
Oh yeah, that's scary though. That's pretty hard to do. But yeah, real Super Bowl material. So I don't know about you, but I was pretty pleased with Week 1. How about you?
I was very pleased.
That's well.
Bills won.
This has been
That's it.
this has been Black Cobra and
Antoine Gonzalez.
this has been NFL Quick Picks Week 1.